thing.
Yeah, I got to find a Hangout substitution that's easy to use and has at least similar functionality as Google Hangouts.
And we are live.
Yeah, we're live with another episode of BS Busters. We're starting early because everyone's here. Might as well don't keep it, don't draw it out. Don't be full of suspense. But before we go any further,
I was gonna make the joke that you're using the Smash Brothers line.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. Before we go any further, I'm gonna have everyone introduce themselves, and then we'll dive into it. So, who wants to go first? Oh, we'll let the lady go first. Go ahead, lady. Go first.
Why not? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the BS Busters End of the Week podcast. I am Joy Moonstar, and EA, not again! Come on.
Yeah, EA is just.
I was hoping to at least have a good month without EA.
Well, at least a week. I wanted to not want to talk about EA for a week, but every time you think you're done, EA is like that kid. Well, he's like that kid in your class who, like, you were trying to learn something. The teacher was something you were actually interested in, but there's always that one motherfucker in the back who doesn't give a shit about his education and is just making noise and being annoying. And you're like, come on, man. I actually care about the transatlantic slave trade. Kenoshi?
That's Kenoshi Abominita here to. I don't really have much of an introduction, but I guess EA's up to their old tricks again.
Why am I not surprised?
And this is Pedophile from Game Facts, and contrary to popular belief, 3DS is still not dead. For now, at least.
What, GameStop isn't dead yet?
No, I mean the 3DS.
No, man. Nintendo's gonna keep that motherfucker on life support as long as they can. But that being said, I guess it's on to me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters, where we shine a spotlight on bullshit in the video game industry and entertainment and stuff like that, but mainly the video game industry. And we say, look at that big pile of bullshit. Someone get a pail and a bucket and some soapy water in it, and we'll see if we can clean that shit up. So with that being said, once again, we have to talk about EA. As the title says, EAnuff is EA-f'ing-nuff. And this time,
yes.
EA it's like we talked about EA we talked about EA the week before. We talked about EA Saturday the week before. And now, we didn't talk about EA that much Wednesday, but man, once again, just when you think it's like that movie with Al Pacino, Carlito's Way, when the guy's trying to get out, he's like, just when I think I'm done, they keep pulling me back in. Just when I think I'm done talking about EA, they just keep on pulling me back in with their bullshit. So
shows how much quality they have then. Oh boy.
Yeah, the bullshit never ends. So I guess we got to talk about
electronic beeping arts.
Yeah, we got to talk about EA. So let's talk about what they've done this time. So basically, the first one, for those of you who might be Star Wars fans, this is something that the director of the studio that's making Star Wars Fallen Jedi, the Star Wars game that EA is contractually obligated to make, or they have to pay like a penalty on their licensing agreement with Disney and LucasArts. Basically, like, the director of the studio, Stig Asmussen, was asked, hey man, why are we playing as a generic white guy protagonist in a Star Wars game when Star Wars has this huge library of characters and races you could use? He said, well, we wanted to avoid alienating, no pun intended, gamers.
Bad joke.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a dog whistle of EA trying to cater to the quote unquote reactionaries.
Well, I mean, I don't even think it's that. Like here's the thing, okay? First of all, the fact that someone would say that a Star Wars fan wouldn't want to play a Star Wars game where you could play as different species, it's like Fallen Jedi, right? You're playing this Jedi who escaped Order 66. Here's the problem with that entire statement. We know for a fact that if you watch the prequel movies, that they're fucking Jedis who aren't just human. So the fact that you have to play a generic white guy protagonist Jedi, it's like, really, we're going to keep on with the trope like there's only one black guy in the Star Wars universe for the longest time. We had Lando Calrissian, and then they pulled Finn from out somebody's ass. So 2 black people in the entire goddamn universe, really? That's where we're going with this? Never mind. But here's the thing. I think all of us can be categorized as some level of Star Wars fan here. So let me ask you, let me put the question to you, panel. Would you be alienated or offended if someone said, hey, we're making a Star Wars game where you can play as, like, I'm not saying they should have Jedi, Hutt Jedis, but, I mean, basically any humanoid race, you can be a Jedi of that race in this game. You can be a Rodian. You can be a Twi'lek. You could be a fucking whatever Plo Koon is. You can be a Chiss if you want to. Here are your choices. Would you be alienated? Would you be like, man, fuck that game? I was interested, but they're giving me the choice of being a Rodian. I don't want to be a Rodian.
I'll be interested in playing as a droid Jedi.
Those of you who don't know what a Rodian is, remember Greedo? That's a Rodian. They have really good eyesight. That's the thing.
I'm trying to sing that song because you know how much BS that is.
Especially since other Star Wars game prior to EA getting the license was like Knights of the Old Republic and Jedi Academy, allowing you to customize your avatar, including their race.
And I mean, I'm not even go that far back. I'm just looking at strictly console games. Do you know how fucking exciting it was to play Super Star Wars and realize you could finally play as Chewbacca? You could choose Chewbacca as a playable character. It's like, thank God I don't have to play Luke Skywalker and Han Solo for a little bit. I can play someone else. Because really, if you played Super Star Wars, Chewbacca was a better starting character because he started out with a powered up weapon, the bowcaster.
I don't even know. And why not create a whole nother race of because it's Star Wars is a big galaxy, so I mean you could have created a film within that universe, which could
but that takes effort. And I mean here's my point is this, okay? Star Wars has this huge lexicon of characters they could have chosen. Like, anyone here seen the animated Clone Wars series? I don't mean the CGI one. I mean the one that Jindy Tartakovsky did.
Oh, yeah, that one was good.
Yeah, remember Kit Fisto, the Jedi who went underwater and was, like, using the Force? Yeah, let me play as that motherfucker or one of his race. That'd be cool. We'll just play generic white guy because, we don't want to alienate people. Yeah, we've had so many fucking movies.
Yeah, that was this is a side tangent. That series was pretty cool. It's like Samurai Jack done with the Star Wars.
Yeah, and you got to see other characters aside from from Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi be badasses. You got to see Ki-Adi-Mundi and Mace Windu and Kit Fisto. I mean, you got to see people be badasses. No, just But then EA makes a single-player Star Wars game. Generic white guy. Why not? And they're like, well, Nolan North is doing the voice. I don't give a fuck. Like, that's supposed to be a bandage for fucking up,
I don't know. It's just like they think people are afraid to play as non-human protagonists when it comes to Star Wars games.
BioWare made that same mistake with Mass Effect Andromeda. Because I was like, Mass Effect Andromeda, wouldn't it have been cool to have been able to play as your main characters be one of the alien races? I mean, and it doesn't have to be something wild. I would have loved to have played that game as a Solarian or a Krogan or a fucking Asari or, hell, one of the Geth would have been cool. No, fuck
Couldn't you
that.
play as an alien in the other game?
That depends.
If you played the shitty multiplayer, yeah, but no one on planet Earth has played a single-player RPG for the fucking multiplayer. Okay.
Regarding Mass Effect, that depends. Does Commander Shepard's origins have to heavily rely on being an Earthling?
Well, I mean, like
That's a good question.
the first Mass Effect trilogy, because they were establishing the universe. That's why I said first Mass Effect. Okay, fine. Then you want to play as a Commander Shepard. That's his story. But Mass Effect Andromeda was a brand new game, and wouldn't it have been cool to have been able to play as, a Krogan or a fucking a fucking shit. I forgot what shit, I forgot the guy's name. An Asari or whatever the hell. I forgot. Shit, it's been so long since I played that game. You could have chosen any of those established races to play as a character, and that would have been an interesting twist on the game, because it's like, okay, well, you're an alien, right? You're an alien in a new part of this in another galaxy. Isn't this interesting? But no, you're human again. EA just shows how fucking lazy they are, and the fact that the director, the core thing, the director is lying, because they're trying to make it sound like this is a design decision and they put a lot of thought into it. This game, Fallen Jedi, is built off of the bones of what Amy Hennig was making, that single-player Uncharted like Star Wars game that Amy Hennig was making before, or was it before she left, because she didn't even get fired. She said, "You know what? You guys are never gonna let me make this game. Fuck it." And she left. But it's built off. So basically, they have to get this game out this year. They don't have the time or the resources to recode in new characters. So rather than just say, look, we wanted to, we didn't have the time, we didn't have the resources. We were under time constraints to get this out. We wanted to make what we had as polished as we could. They're lying and saying, oh, well, gamers didn't want this. Motherfucker, I've been a Star Wars fan for a long time, and if someone said, hey, we're coming out with a Star Wars game, you can play as different characters aside from your typical Skywalker's white human being, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I'd love to play a game where I could play as an alien. They're lying. And I know that's just me, but I know other Star Wars fans would not be alienated, because if you're into Star Wars, you're obviously not going to be alienated by alien species, because Star Wars is full of them.
Yes. I mean, seriously, how can you be alienated by aliens?
That's like someone saying, well, we were going to make a Star Wars series where the captain was an alien, but we changed our mind because we didn't want to make people angry. You do realize that Star Trek is full of aliens, right? That's basically the stupid ass shit like the dude said something that was so stupid that literally parts of my brain went, what? And brain cells in my brain went, what? And exploded, because the stupidity was infectious. So yeah, and now to move on from that topic, just when you guys thought that we would stop talking about EA, or that EA somehow is not continuing to be
started.
Well, they're surprised.
I was hoping that they at least clean up their act, but no, we get a double header, don't we?
No, their surprise mechanics struck back again. This time in the UK, a couple bought FIFA 2019 or 2020? They bought FIFA for their kids for the Switch.
Stupid move one.
Well, I mean, look, parents are gonna buy shit for their kids, but I mean, whatever. It's the UK. They like football over there. So basically, they bought FIFA 2019 for their kids, and they hooked the system. They hooked the system up with their credit card, and the guy's like, yeah, I bought an $8 ultimate card back, like one ultimate card back. Well, they're kids who were like 7 and 8, like, you know, not really old enough to really understand money quite yet. Basically continued to charge money, getting ultimate card packs, and cleared out their parents' bank account.
Which is scary as fudge.
That is terrible.
Now, I've heard some people on the internet say, "Well, it's the parents' fault. They shouldn't have done that." And normally, I would say, you know, the parents have some culpability, but really, I'm gonna look at the system in place because, like, if you look at FIFA games from 20 years ago, they didn't fucking have microtransactions in them. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm not going to get angry because here's the thing, okay? 7 and 8-year-old kids have no concept of money, okay? They don't. And to be fair, I mean, like when you're 7 or 8, your parents have maybe taught you to respect other people's property, not break people's shit. You are not prepared for microtransactions at 7 or 8 years old. You don't have a concept of it, okay? So... you know, the parents, yeah, maybe they shouldn't have had their shit connected to the thing, but I'm not gonna get that mad at them because really it's fucking EA and their fucking microtransactions that are the problem. Because if the game didn't need, if the kids could get that shit from grinding, they wouldn't even be fucking playing the FIFA game. They say this shit's boring. Let's go play Mario. Yeah. So. Once again, EA has shown why they cannot be trusted. They can't be
even
trusted.
The basics.
They cannot be trusted.
If a law has to be created because of your BS, I'm surprised they haven't won a third golden piece of poop.
Well, because there are worse companies out there. I mean, there's Citibank, various coal companies, oil companies. I mean, like, in the grand scheme of things, EA is not really the worst company on planet Earth, but they definitely are scummy as fuck. I mean, in a small way. They're small level scummy, but they're scummy. Johnson & Johnson's worse. They're the company that knew that their baby powder could get into women use them on the lower parts of their bodies. It could get in there and cause cancer, and they knew this for like 40 years and just didn't do anything. And so when women started getting cancer, they were like, "Oh, well, it's cheaper for us to just pay you a payout, a minor payout, and keep our profits up high." And these were like people could, you know, cancer can kill you. So I mean that's way worse than EA, but EA is pretty bad on a lower level. So yeah, EA, you know, you're like the young guns. You can't stop, won't stop. Just continuous bullshit, in other words.
I think a picture meme would work best with EA. Here we go again.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Like they say, one of the hallmarks of stupidity is failure to learn from your past actions. But EA just continues to just
make themselves look. They continue to make themselves look worse.
Look, EA, you don't want to get rid of microtransactions. Okay, fair enough. But you know what you could do? You could give people the option to turn them off in their game. Just like it's not available. Just like you go, you hit like an option screen where you can turn off sound effects, music. Just say microtransactions. Click, it's off. Now, would that make the game unnecessarily grindy? Probably, but I mean, if people don't want them, they don't want them. Give people the choice to have them in their games. Your guys' thoughts on this?
Can we go 1 week without having their name on our lips?
Well, personally, I'm tired of. I was about to say something. I was about to say kind of sexual. I'm tired of talking about EA. I was about to say I'm tired of having EA in my mouth, but I never want EA in my mouth. I'm tired of talking about EA, but look, I would have liked to have talked about other news of the week. I would have loved to talk about Eagle Island. That's basically kind of like a Metroidvania / roguelike game, and I'm having fun with it.
That would have been interesting.
Which is basically it's basically Contra. It's Super Contra. It's a love letter to Super Contra. I mean, there's other shit I'd like to talk about, but EA just keeps on fucking up. I can't.
I'm sorry that I made the language of putting EA in your mouth.
Yeah, I would love to talk about them, but they just keep on fucking up. I mean, I can't. I mean,
the problem with the options to turn off microtransactions is because there might be a possibility that they might purposely have certain cosmetic items be exclusive only for microtransactions. So you can't. So grinding may not. So you won't be able to obtain it through traditional grinding.
Well, I mean, like, here's the thing. Normally in games that have microtransactions, you have premium currency, which you can earn through, you can earn it by paying money. Well, you don't earn it. You can get it by paying money, or you can get it through grinding. But the exchange rate through grinding is much lower than if you just pay money for it. And that's where they get you. So, I mean, when I say microtransactions, I mean, it's just like you can't use the money version. You can't pay money for the premium currency. So you can still use microtrans, but you'd have to use you'd have to get the premium currency through grinding. The thing is that EA and Activision have built their entire business models around not making that easy. They don't want you to grind. They want you to spend. They want you to make that easy impulse buy, which it's a form of gambling. It's very this is hard, this is easy, and typically speaking, people are going to go the easy route. The problem is that if you do this to adults, it's bad enough because it does feed into that gambling mentality. But these are kids, and kids' minds are still forming. And if you're getting kids into addictive behavior when they're kids, it's going to be much harder for them to avoid addictive shit when they're older. But hey, what do I know? I'm just.
You're just a person with a microphone, right?
I'm just a dude who likes to play video games. What the fuck do I know? Kenoshi, your thoughts?
Again, it's just if people want anything to happen with these microtransactions, the conclusion is to not buy these games anymore. I mean, if they really want something to happen, change, they're gonna have to boycott these games. Shouldn't have to do it, but it's not like if they keep buying these games, well, they're just gonna encourage EA to keep going forward with their microtransactions.
I mean, if you really want to hurt EA, but you still want to play their games, here's a thought. Okay, EA comes out with their big games in September, October, November. That's when they come out with their big games of the year. Okay, don't buy them. Don't buy them until January, February, March. Wait until the next year to get their big games. First of all, the price is going to go down because EA is going to be trying to sell them. Okay. Like companies are, your big box retailers are going to be trying to clear the shelves of that shit. So the price is going to go down. So it's going to be cheaper for you. Secondly, EA is going to take that hit and maybe figure out, maybe we shouldn't be fucking people over. Maybe that's why these games aren't selling. If you do that, maybe, just maybe, EA will take the fucking hint.
Sometimes it takes a bit of patience to hit somebody in the worst place imaginable.
I don't know about that. I'm just personally tired of I'm tired of EA fucking people over. I'm tired of gaming becoming
Soulless.
well, I'm tired. Like, here's the thing. If you're, how can I put this nicely? If your business model is so shitty that the only way you can make money is by doing shady, fucked up shit to people, which is what EA and Activision, like, if your business model only works, like, if the only way EA can make those massive amounts of profits is by doing borderline shady shit, that's a bad business model, because eventually those loopholes are going to get closed. Nothing stays the same forever. You know what I mean?
Somebody's going to notice it and try to fix the mess.
Well, either that or just technology changes. Like, remember, oil used to be a big thing. Oil used to be the biggest thing in the world. Coal used to be the biggest thing in the world. And as technology progressed, coal's not a big deal that much anymore. Oil is going the same way. So if you built your entire economy, the way you make money off of something that's going away, and you haven't switched over to something that's more sustainable, you're fucked.
You're
And
gonna
that's
sink.
EA. Yeah, that's EA right now. They're like, man, microtransactions, that's the way of the future. Really? Because
If a ship is sinking that fast and you're still on it,
yeah, because people,
oh boy.
like, every time we turn around, a country is either about to pass laws regulating loot boxes or has passed a law regulating loot boxes. And EA just keeps on, oh no, you know, they had a lady go up there and earn her paycheck and lie. No, we consider them surprise mechanics. I'm telling you, it's a real surprise when when your kids charge all your money out your fucking bank account. That's a real surprise. Let's see, Villain Super. It's the parents' fault for letting their kids go ham with their credit card in these EA games. Villain Super, I would agree with you, except here's the thing. While the parents share some blame for basically hooking up their credit card to their video game system, a lot of people do that, and they don't have those types of problems. Problem is that EA has fucking microtransactions in a goddamn game. They shouldn't be there. It's like someone saying, "Hey, man, I went, I went into the city late at night to a concert. Afterwards, I went to a restaurant and had some drinks and ate some food. And then when I was on the train to get back home, someone robbed me. Well, man, you shouldn't have been on that train." It's like, no, the motherfucker shouldn't have robbed you. I mean, you have the right. You have the right to do whatever the fuck you want. It's the people who victimize those rights who have the problem. So in this case, yes, EA fucked up, in my opinion, more so than the parents or even the kids. I'm not saying they don't have some blame, but I put more blame on EA than I do kids or the parents.
And continuing all the talk with EA somewhat.
Oh, they fucked up again, huh?
No, it's just that the No Man's Sky director thinks that EA should stay silent after Anthem's disastrous launch, as well as Bethesda's.
Yeah, like I'm listening to anything from Sean Murray. Sean Murray! Hey, Sean Murray, let me ask you a question. In No Man's Sky, can I have multiplayer in No Man's Sky? Yes. Sean Murray needs to do us all a favor and shut the fuck up. Sean Murray! From now on, when someone overhypes a game that can no way, shape, or form fulfill that hype, we'll call it a Sean Murray in regards to No Man's Sky. Oh, boy.
A Sean Murray. That might have a ring to it.
Oh man, you pulled a Sean Murray with that game, my friend. Yeah, I mean, it's like basically, you had this little small studio that before then they made like Trials games and Action Hank, which is a Trials type like game with a character who's this fat guy on a moped doing stunts. And basically, and then they're like, okay, we're gonna make this massive open world game where every planet is procedurally generated and you can do all this shit. It sounded unbelievable when they were describing it. And so
too good to be true.
Yeah, people should have been very skeptical of that game, especially from a small studio. Now, if a AAA developer said we're making a game and it's a massive open world game, and we're putting like millions of dollars into it, I'd say, okay, fair enough. It's a 60, 70, $80 million game. Okay, you have the resources to pull this off. A little indie studio, shit. Yeah, but like I have to disagree with Sean Murray's thing.
Wording.
I think the better. Well, I don't think they should go silent. I think you shouldn't. First of all, if you know you're gonna really shit, maybe delay it, so that when it comes out, it's at least not as shitty. Just saying. Like maybe if No Man's Sky had a year and more in development, maybe it wouldn't have come out to be the trash that it was when it first came out. But that's just me, I mean, what Sean Murray's saying is release a game, which is what his studio did. They released No Man's Sky, they got the money, and then they spent that money to make the game better after it came out. But that's a really risky fucking procedure, because if all you have is your reputation in the video game industry, unless you're EA, you can release shit after shit after shit, and people still keep on giving you your money. But most other developers, most other developers and publishers, after a while, people get tired of your shit. So I don't know. Kenoshi, your thoughts?
So what did Sean Murray say exactly?
He thinks that EA and Bethesda should stay silent in regards to Anthem and Fallout 76's disastrous launch.
Yeah. Like, just don't say anything so that people can get angrier and angrier and more pissed off.
In short, let the pot bubble. Brew.
Which is what BioWare's been doing in case of Anthem. They went radio silent, and more players have left that game and are pissed. So yeah, that method works. Ignoring your player base and not saying a word is totally working. Which anyone who's ever had an angry argument with their girlfriend knows, if you don't say anything, that's so much worse.
You're likely sleeping outside.
Unless you're Japanese and you're able to understand people's body language.
Even then, look, women do not like when you don't say anything when they're arguing, when they're angry at you. Actually, people in general don't like it when you don't say anything when they're angry at you. If you go completely silent and act like you're ignoring them, oh boy.
Something's gonna blow up.
Yeah, that is not a good. That is. Nope. Don't do it. You done fucked up. But anyone have anything else they want to add before we move on to some of the more fun topics of the podcast?
Nothing at the moment. Just want to move on to the other topics.
All right. Okay. Well, we got some good.
For me, I'm just hoping that we don't have to talk about trash like that again for a while.
Okay.
But
well,
who am I kidding? This is BS.
Here's a little bit of information for you. Valve reportedly made changes to Half-Life after playing GoldenEye 64. Boom!
What was that?
Valve reportedly
They made changes to Half-Life
after playing GoldenEye.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hopefully it's one of the good GoldenEyes.
Well, I mean, when someone says GoldenEye, the only there's only one GoldenEye they're talking about, and that's GoldenEye 64. Because no one gives a shit about that Wii remake with Daniel Craig. Man, oh god.
It was all right. I mean, I bought it, played it for a little bit. It was medium.
Yeah,
I guess slightly above mediocre, at least.
Yeah, like there is something about that original GoldenEye that makes it still playable to this day versus the Wii remake. And it just, for some reason, that game is just so playable even to this day. It's slow. The gunplay isn't the best, but there's just something about GoldenEye 64. It's just, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah. So I mean, I've said this before. GoldenEye 64 was a very influential game. It really influenced first-person shooters in a way that we had not seen before. And it did. I just thought that was cool.
And essentially, said it was possible to make a first-person shooter on a console play well. Yeah. I mean, at the time,
a first-person shooter that worked.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't really grow up with GoldenEye and you play it now, probably wouldn't. Probably be difficult for you to understand. But
no, I don't think so. Because I've brought an N64 into my classes, the kids I teach, and these are like kids who didn't grow up with GoldenEye, probably never even played GoldenEye 64. But after about 5 minutes, they get it.
I was about to ask. Please tell me that you did not let them play you know who.
No. This is single player. I had them play because we had game day at this school, and you can bring any type of game you want, including video games. And so I was like my classroom was like, look, I'm gonna do retro games. So I had like a N64, a GameCube, a Wii, and like basically I was like, okay, for the GameCube I had Soul Calibur 2, for the N64 I had GoldenEye and Diddy Kong Racing, because fuck Mario Kart 64. And I was like, yeah, so we're gonna play some GoldenEye, and I'm like, you guys probably aren't really used to the control scheme, so play it a little bit, see how it feels. And they did, and they got it. I mean, look, listen, if you compare it to the modern first-person shooters, no, it's not buttery smooth, it's not fast, but the idea of what GoldenEye 64 is and what you can do in it, that shit is still carried on now. Because there was no first-person shooter that was doing the shit that GoldenEye was doing, console or PC, when GoldenEye 64 did. Yeah. So, I mean, like all the first-person shooters that came out after GoldenEye 64, you need to get on your knees and kiss that game's ass, okay? Because that game really paved the way. Just like all the third-person platformers, action adventure games, like the platformers need to bend down and kiss Mario 64's ass because that game set the stage for the rest of you. And when it comes to action adventure games, you need to kiss Legend of Zelda's Ocarina of Time's ass because that set the stage for the rest of y'all. Irony, these games came from that obsolete console, the N64. But suffice it to say, there you go. So yeah, there you go. I just thought that was kind of an interesting thing. The charts in Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Australia. The top 10 charts. Number 10 is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Number 9 is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Number 8 is FIFA 19. People, stop!
Stop with the soccer assholery.
Well,
seriously,
I mean, soccer over there, so I guess they just keep on. Number 7 is Tom Clancy Rainbow Six Siege. Number 6 is Borderlands 2. I guess because of the re-release for Borderlands. Number 5 is F1 2019. I guess that's F1 Racing. Number 4 is Borderlands the pre-sequel. Number 3 is Super Mario Maker 2. Number 2 is Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. But do you know what the number 1 game in Europe is this week?
Please tell me it's not an EA game.
No, it's a 2K game. It's GTA.
GTA Online? Is it GTA Online?
It doesn't make a distinction. It's just GTA. So it's just GTA.
At least I feel relieved that the number one is not EA.
I don't think EA is ever the number one, except when a new FIFA drops or some shit like that. And I'm not ecstatic with it. Let's see what else. So anything else anyone wants to bring up before we move on to the fun topic?
Any other gaming related news?
Yeah.
Let's see if I got anything. Oh yeah, Dr. Mario World is out today, and people were able to dynamite it and revealed 11 more playable characters besides Dr. Mario, Dr. Luigi, Dr. Peach, Dr. Bowser, Dr. Toad, Dr. Yoshi, and Dr. Toadette, and Dr. Bowser Jr., and Dr. Ludwig and Dr. Wendy.
Yeah.
There's Dr. Wario, Dr. Waluigi, Dr. Daisy, Dr. Donkey Kong, Dr. Diddy Kong, Dr. Baby Mario, Dr. Baby Luigi, Dr. Baby.
Okay, I have a disgusting side thing. What if Dr. Donkey Kong's special abilities and he throws shit at you?
I was about
get the fuck out of my office.
I was about to get on the game for another reason. Why are babies allowed to do medical work?
You know that babies, kids play doctor all the time.
Yeah, but not babies. Like when they play doctor, it's more like 5, 6, 7 years old. Not babies.
Yeah, this is where my WTF meter hits high.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dr. Baby Peach, Dr. Baby Daisy, Dr. Rosalina, and Dr. Luma.
Okay. I guess that's cool. So with that being said, does anyone here really looking forward to that? Kanoshi, you looking forward to the Mario, Dr. Mario mobile game? Dr. Mario World.
I'm not huge in the mobile play games, so.
Yeah, there's a mobile game I play, but it's free. There's no microtransactions, and it's basically an RPG.
Puzzles and Dragons?
No, it's called Pixel Dungeon. Yeah, Puzzle and Dragons has microtransactions up the ass, really. So I don't really fuck with that game. But I mean, it is what it is. People like what they like. They can do what they want. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to suck it to.
Very clever way of using a song.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want to. I mean, I personally don't really give a shit, but like, I'm one of those people. I give very few shits about I give no fucks about Dr. Mario World. Don't care. I'm not enthralled with the concept of it. I know some people like it, but I'm like, I don't give a shit. So with that being said, here's some news. Level 5 is not only bringing Yokai Watch 4 to the Switch in America, but they're also bringing over Yokai Watch 1.
So they're pulling the Yokai games from the 3DS to the Switch.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Now, if they really want to do something impressive, they should bring Fantasy Life over, but...
Yeah, I mean, Fantasy Life is a great game.
I mean, Level 5 has brought over the Professor Layton games from the DS onto other platforms. So
yeah, the DS and the iPhone, the Android smartphone. I think you can get it on PC too. I mean, it's Professor Layton. I mean, they really hoard out that franchise, really. Here's some more news. Sega rated for Korea and Taiwan Tabagoro Super Monkey Ball. So apparently Sega might be bringing over a Monkey Ball game. Hopefully it's like Super Monkey Ball 1 and not like 2 or arcade or Adventure.
And speaking of Sega, one of the Sonic movie producers said that quote unquote fans will be pleased with Sonic's redesign for the movie.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't look like they're trying to make him look human, it's okay. Because clearly you can tell that design didn't really give a fuck about the character. Like you can tell they did not give a fuck about that character. Whoever designed Sonic who looked like that, they didn't give a fuck. They no fucks were given. It's like I was like, people wonder how the Super Mario Brothers movie could be so shitty. They were like, how could it be this bad? How could it be this bad? Would it surprise you that the two people who directed that film had never played a Super Mario Brothers game? And it shows, doesn't it?
I was gonna say that should scare somebody if they have no knowledge of the game, of the source material.
Makes sense, don't it? Can't you? Haven't you figured out how something can be so terrible when someone doesn't give a fuck about the source material? Let's see what else. The new Mortal Kombat movie will be rated R.
A new Mortal Kombat movie.
And it confirms that there's going to be some fatalities in the movie.
Well, obviously, if it's rated R, there's going to be some fatalities in the movie. So it's a new Mortal Kombat movie. It's rated R. I'm going to keep it real. That first Mortal Kombat movie is pretty good. It's PG-13, but it's pretty good. The second one is trash. But the first one's pretty good. They killed Johnny Cage in like the first 5 minutes. It's not good. In the second
I was about to say, that's a low blow. Killing you off one of your characters that were epic in the game. I mean, epic in the first movie. And then slaughter him in the second.
Yeah, it wasn't cool.
Ooh, here's something that piques your guys' interest. Baten Keita's director, Yasuyuki Hone, a former developer at Namco, and now part of Microsoft, has revealed that they discussed a potential Earthbound game for the GameCube.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, they did a little prototype for Earthbound game for the GameCube. It looks like claymation. It actually looks pretty cool. I mean, had it been polished up a little bit, and made a little bit better, it probably could have been cool. I mean, personally, I'd rather have a Baten Kaitos 2, but, it is what it is.
Isn't Baten 2 already out?
No, there's Baten Kaitos, and there's Baten Kaitos Origins, which is a prequel.
Right.
So there is no real sequel to Baten Kaitos, which is sad because it's the best damn card battle RPG you'll ever play. Oh, boy. Tiny Metal Full Metal Rumble is out. It's I guess kind of an expansion to Tiny Metal. For those of you who don't know what Tiny Metal is, it's basically Advance Wars, but not made by Nintendo. It's Advance Wars. Yeah, you've got like little commanders and little. It's like the modern idea of what Advance Wars would be, and I fucking love it because Nintendo hasn't made an Advance Wars in years. Like I think the last one was for DS, Advance Wars World of Ruin or some shit like that. That was like set in this post-apocalyptic future. It was really dark, like really dark. So, anything else anyone wants to bring up before we
Cuphead is getting an animated series. Oh wait, did I already mention that on the last podcast?
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Cuphead's getting the animation. It's getting turned into a cartoon. I want to watch cartoons.
Well, I wonder if they're going to use a lot of the same old techniques that they use with how they made the video, how they made the Cuphead game.
Yeah, they basically use animation style like old Popeye cartoons, old like Betty Boop cartoons. I mean, I'd be cool with it. I mean, I'm like, here's the thing, okay? Cuphead for me, like, that game is really obscenely hard. Like the first time I beat Cuphead, I had to use cheats. The second time I beat it, I had to use a trainer on PC. The second time I beat it, I did it the hard way. But that's after I played it through the first time and figured out the timing and all that stuff. Like once you figure out how to use the counter slap, the game gets a lot easier, and get your timing down and all that type of shit.
Yeah.
That's a little tricky if I remember right, because well, some of those things are hard timings.
Well, I mean, like the thing is, the enemies' patterns stay the same no matter what difficulty you have. It's just the difference is that the higher the difficulty, like the sooner they'll go into their different patterns and the farther they'll go. So, like on normal difficulty, the enemies' patterns are like more static. Whereas in higher difficulties, they'll switch it up and mix it up. But when they go into a pattern, it's the same pattern every time. So once you get that down, the game's a lot easier. You'll still die, but it's not as bad as if you just.
I was about to say
you're
it's not as painful.
Yeah, if you're not used to hard shit like that, it's kind of hard. But if it's not, if you are, then it's not that bad.
It's just the bullet hell levels that get me.
On for me, those weren't the ones that did it for me. Like for me, the second time I played through and I wasn't using a trainer to have invincibility, the first time I started really dying and just getting fucked up is when I got to Dice Man. Cause you don't even get
King Dice.
You got to get through a lot of like little mini bosses, which is I'm like fuck this shit. Like I hate that.
He put you through hell by trying to make you roll the dice to
really,
get to him.
He's harder than the devil because after you beat him, the devil's like, this. I can take the devil, no problem. But King Dice, that motherfucker, fuck him.
Funny how the right-hand man stole the show.
It's funny how the devil looks like a giant cat.
Yeah.
Ooh,
well, cats are pretty evil.
Ooh, apparently Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is doing a collaboration event with Sanrio, the company behind Hello
Okay.
What'd you say?
Animal Crossing Pocket Camp is doing a collaboration event with Sanrio, the company behind Hello Kitty.
Oh God. You know they have Gundam versus Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty,
which is WTF?
Hello Kitty is crossing over with everything.
Yeah.
Why is Hello Kitty so popular? What is it about Hello Kitty?
I don't know.
I see it freaking everywhere.
I don't
Go to the
know.
mall, Hello Kitty. I don't get it.
I don't know.
Remember, cats are
It's
evil.
something that I was about to say that there's something about that cat that always makes people say, "Aww."
Was it an anime? Was it a manga? Was it?
It was originally it was an advertisement thing, and then they turned it from the advertisement. It's kind of like where the advertisement grows so big it takes on a life of its own, like Domo-kun, the animated Pooh from Japan, Domo-kun.
Or the one with smiley face a few years ago.
Yeah, Domo-kun was originally just like basically he was an advertisement originally just for like their like the Japanese local version of 7-Eleven. It's not 7-Eleven, it's like their answer to 7-Eleven in Japan. And then it took off so much that they made animes about it and mangas and just that's what happened to Hello Kitty.
Yeah. I mean, it's so big that it's even like it's a worldwide thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you what's really creepy about Hello Kitty. I mean, should I say this? Okay, I don't care. I don't date her anymore. I knew a girl who had a vibrator, but it wasn't like a normal vibrator. It was a Hello Kitty vibrator. She used kitty on her kitty.
Wow.
Yeah, double fun there. But I don't
Oh, that's
but
one of the
anyway,
jokes I would make. Oh.
yeah, well, you know. But anyway, yeah, it was a very interesting. Yeah, Hello Kitty's big in Japan. She's big everywhere. She's huge. I mean, she's not Mario big, but aside from that, she's huge in every other way. So I guess we can talk about games that have. Oh, here's some news. Square Enix ponders a remake of Dragon Quest IX. See Switch as a viable platform for such a remake, but not yet. And for those of you who don't know, Dragon Quest IX is it's the Dragon Quest that came out for the DS. But the last one that was made by Level 5. It's actually a really good RPG. It's a Dragon Quest where you actually create your hero and you create a party and you recruit characters and you go out. Like the cool thing about Dragon Quest IX is that you could find these things called mystery dungeons, these mystery maps that you use to find a mystery dungeon. And when you went down to the mystery dungeon, you could fight like some of the mystery dungeons you'd fight like powered up versions of normal enemies, but in other ones you'd fight like legendary monsters from other Dragon Quest games. So you could fight Hargen from Dragon Quest 3 or Dragon Quest 2. You could fight Draco Lord from Dragon Quest 1. It's actually a pretty good game. But they're not re-releasing that game anytime soon. So anyone else have anything else they want to say before we get to the fun topic finally?
Apparently there's a video of an unreleased Terminator NES game.
Yeah, I heard about that. I don't know. Most of the video games based on the Terminator suck. Like even the modern ones, like the PS2, PS3 ones sucked. So, I mean, I don't want to know how bad it would be during the third generation, 8-bit era. Level 5 takes it to the top at the Anime Expo. They hosted voice actors and the director of Inazuma 11, Aries. Really give a shit about soccer animes.
Soccer.
I mean, you have to really like soccer to want to watch an anime about it. The only sports anime that I'll watch is iShield 99. Or sorry, iShield 21. And that's because it's about football, damn it, and not soccer. Football, American football. And it's a work of fiction because it has a Japanese guy who's like the fastest running back ever. Let's see what else. They also had Layton's Mystery Journey, Cottrell and the Millionaire's Conspiracy, which Capcom is treating like it's a new game, but really it's just a fucking re-release of a game that came out already, which I'm kind of angry about. Like, whatever, but whatever. Level 5 also showed off at the Anime Expo the Yokai Watch game trailer and debuting a short clip of a new animated series, The Snack World. You know, that big game Level 5 was going to put out and then just never did anything with it.
I was about to say, how long has it been since that game was announced?
It looked cool, but there was no gameplay shown for it, so, you know.
That's what I was wondering because it's a long beeping time to not announce a game.
Whatever.
We can move on to the fun topic now.
Yeah, we can move on to the fun topic. So 3 games came out this week that, 2 games and a demo. So the 2 games are Blazing Chrome and Soul Seraph. Oh, no, actually 3 games. Soul Seraph, Blazing Chrome, and Eagle Island. And the demo is look this up. I don't want to get it. I don't want to get it wrong. Griftlands. Griftlands is the Clay Entertainment. Clay Entertainment made Mark of the Ninja. They made Shank 1 and 2. They also made some other shit too, but those are the games I read. Oh, and Oxygen Not Included. Clay Entertainment did that too. So, you know, Griftlands has changed quite a bit. It went from being a turn-based RPG to being a card battle RPG, which I'm kind of angry about because I actually like the idea of a turn-based RPG, 2D with some 2D style. But with that
I was
being
about to say, it's now a card game, right? Which game is it? Trying to be sure about it.
what?
You said that they turned it from an RPG to a card battle game.
Yeah, it's still an RPG, but before it was like a straight up turn-based RPG, and now it's a card battle game. So it's a card
Which
battle.
game is that?
Griftland.
Griftland?
Yeah, Griftland.
Oh boy, huh?
Well, the demo's out now. It's a demo. It's a demo. It's open alpha or beta, whatever the fuck. Blazing Chrome also came out. It's basically Contra. It's basically Super Contra. That's all I got to say about that. I mean, you know, if you like Contra, you'll like Blazing Chrome. And of course, we have the disappointment of the week. Sega's ActRaiser knockoff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Then scratch that itch, huh?
Well, I mean, it's a $15 game, and it feels like a $15 game, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it is remarkably cheap.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it is. Ooh, boy, this game is so cheap. It's oh god. It is not fun at all. It is just goddamn, that game is cheap. Which brings me to a fun topic. What game? Here to the fun topic of people resurrecting old IPs with spiritual successors. So, what game, in your opinion, definitely needs a spiritual successor, and how would you do it? Go. Who wants to go first?
I'm still waiting for the spiritual successor for Clock Tower, where it's basically a point and click horror game where you where you have to control your main character by clicking where to go, and there's also some puzzle solving while trying to avoid whatever is trying to kill you. And if you do end up encountering that entity, you have to run and hide. But you have to be careful not to use the same hiding spot more than once, or else you die.
Kind of like the Batman boss of Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, sort of like that.
I have a question though. Are you still gonna have Scissor Man in that shit?
No, I was thinking more like a monster rather than a serial killer.
The midget. Well, I mean, he was kind of a monster in the original Clock Tower. I mean, if I saw a hunchback dwarf with a giant set of scissors coming towards me, I'd be like, shit. God damn. That's creepier than Pyramid Head.
That's uncomfortable.
The only thing creepier than a midget with a than a hunchback midget with a giant pair of scissors is if they had a dude picking his nose with a booger on the end of it, trying to rub it on you, trying to wipe it off on you. Now that's even creepier. Yeah, that's creepier. That's creepier than, you know. It's like you don't die. It's just so gross. You want to kill yourself. Your character kills himself. That's horrifying. That's a horrifying concept to think about.
Oh, what's scarier than that would be his younger brother.
I guess.
Which is just a giant monster blob.
Yeah. Okay. So with that being said, Kenoshi, you want to go next?
A game that needs a resurrection?
Yep.
Like, is this a sequel or a remake or what?
Either sequel, remake, whatever.
Yeah.
I know a series of kinds of games that could use a revival.
Well, I
So if anything,
I'd like to see the Final Fantasy VI game done in the Octopath with the Octopath engine. That'd be pretty cool.
That would be
with the original creators behind it.
So basically, like a Blues Brothers type thing going on.
Yeah.
Having like they're driving around Japan. We're getting the band back together. We're on a mission from God. Just what we need. Illinois Nazis. I hate Illinois Nazis. What are they doing in Japan? I don't know. We're on a mission from God. Yeah, if we had a movie about that, that would be an awesome movie. But what would be the equivalent of the Black Church? You know, with James Brown. You know, I woke up this morning, I heard a disturbing sound. What I heard. I don't know.
I was going to suggest something like the Technoball series, or certain non-licensed sports games of anything. I mean, seriously, I haven't heard from one of those since 2000, as far as I know.
Okay, then. All right. I recently saw something. Ironically, this is actually a game that I really wanted. Now, the Ninja Warriors is a game that came out. The first game was an arcade game, and it's kind of shitty. But there was a game for the SNES called the Ninja Warriors Again. It's the sequel to the game, and it's so good. It's a 2D beat 'em up where you can choose one of three ninjas, cyborgs. They're cyborg ninjas, which is even more badass than just normal ninjas or normal cyborgs. And each of them has a different play style. There's this big motherfucker with a nunchuck who's like really slow, but he's got nunchucks. And then there's like this guy with scythes in his arms that he's got, you know, he's kind of like the balance in between. And then there's like the kunoichi ninja chick who's got like a katana. And it's a really awesome game. But Taito said, hey, since everyone's bringing back old shit, they're bringing that shit back. With a new game, a third game in the series. So there you go, folks.
Has anybody played that Path of the Ninja game? Or not Path of the... what was it? Samurai Showdown game? Has anybody played that new Samurai Showdown game?
I've seen someone play it. I thought it was good.
I thought it looks pretty good. I can't wait till it comes out on PC because that's probably where I'm going to get it.
I mean, it's Samurai.
I'm waiting for the Switch release. This fall.
Yeah, it's Samurai Showdown. So I mean, you know, it's.
I played the one on Switch that came out like a couple years ago, and that was pretty good. It was like, this is a really good precursor to I actually prefer it over Soul Calibur just because I like 2D stuff better than 3D.
I mean, normally I would agree with you, except I will have to say that there are more good games in Samurai Showdown, or Last Blade as they call it, in some places, than Soul Calibur, because Soul Calibur really only has like 3-4 good games. The other games are trash. Like there's Soul Calibur 1, which is okay, Soul Calibur 2, which is great, Soul Calibur 3, which is good. And then it's all downhill from there. Soul Calibur 4 is trash. Soul Calibur 5 is trash. Soul Calibur 6 is trash. I mean, Soul Calibur 6 is better trash than 4 and 5, but it's still not very good. Whereas, you know, Samurai Showdown has a lot of good games. Samurai Showdown 1, 2, 3. You know, that entire series is pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Samurai Showdown. And you're right. It's basically just 2D. It's essentially just 2D. It's 2D Soul Calibur.
You know, I was watching a review of it, and they were talking about how these games are more focused on outsmarting your opponent rather than who can get the most stylish combo in. Like a lot of these other games.
Like Street Fighter and Tekken.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you reach a certain point, skill mastery in like 2D fighters, you can't just overpower opponents. You actually, but then again, that's every fighter. Because Soul Calibur, if you had two people who were really good at Soul Calibur, like Soul Calibur, if you're at lower level, you can button mash your way to victory. But once you fight someone who's good, if you haven't learned how to use blade clashes and parries and dodges and combo interrupts and stuff like that, you're gonna get your ass
killed one shot.
Well, you won't get one shotted unless someone has a character who's really good at ring outs. But they will fuck you up. Like, I've played people who are really good with characters that I'm not good. Like me, I'm good with like medium tier. Like, not the fastest, not the slowest. So your Mitsurugis, your
I was gonna say your average characters.
Your Mitsurugis, your Maxis, your Keelix. Like I'm not like I'm good with the medium level characters. Your Young Song's characters like that. Whereas, you know, like the slow character, there's only one slow character I'm good with and using in Soul Calibur, and that is I'm good with Siegfried. Not Nightmare, just Siegfried. I'm good with Siegfried.
That's odd, considering those two play nearly alike.
Yeah, they play very similar to each other. You're right, but yeah,
Yeah, because canonically they're the same person.
Not really. They're not really the same person. Like Nightmare is the dark personification of the Soul Edge once it took over Siegfried's body, but they're not exactly the same person, because basically in the second game, you know, after an intense fight with Nightmare, they split into two guys, and Siegfried gets the Soul Calibur and he fights the dark personification of Nightmare. Because even after like canonically you do all the stuff and Siegfried is separated from the Soul Edge.
Soul Edge.
That version of Soul Edge still exists. And the more powerful version of that thing is called the Abyss, which is like the ultimate version of the Soul Edge, but it's not the same person. Even though, I mean, gameplay wise, you're right, it's the same model and they share a lot of the same move sets, but not really. Like their stances are backwards. Like in order to do different guard stances, horizontal, vertical, the inputs are backwards for Siegfried versus Nightmare. But so,
I would say if you could learn how to reverse your controls a bit, then you probably can get Nightmare, but I'm not sure.
No, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not bad with Nightmare. I can kick ass with Nightmare. it's just I prefer Siegfried because I think the idea of having a character who redeems himself and becomes, a hero versus just being a straight up villain is interesting. Because Siegfried does some pretty fucked up shit when he's under the control of Nightmare over the Soul Edge blade. Like he kills his father. He a lot of fucked up shit.
And to think, it was all started by a pirate.
Yeah, that bastard Cervantes.
The same pirate that abandoned his daughter.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, thank God he abandoned his daughter because she turned into Ivy. And she's got daddy. Like nothing but daddy issues.
Yeah, we could tell where that goes.
So this old lady, here's some fun stuff for you. This old lady, so this 82-year-old grandmother finally completes The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess on the Wii. And it only took her 755 hours and 36 minutes.
It took her what? How long?
It took her 755 hours and 36 minutes.
Wow.
And the sad thing is that she doesn't even have 20 hearts.
Wow.
She's only got 18. I'm like, that's when that happens, you just like, Grandma, good job.
Wow.
I was gonna say, you did good. You did good. Well, why not go there?
Yeah. But that's just me. So damn. Let's see. Everyone said their game they think needs to be rebooted. Kenoshi said Final Fantasy VI.
And I said Clock Tower.
And Jewel said
games like the Tecmo Bowl series, as in non-licensed sports games for once.
Want to go with Tecmo Bowl? All right.
I mean,
that's
kind of weird, but
no, I like Tecmo Bowl. I personally prefer it over Madden. Like I'd rather play Tecmo Bowl over and over again than ever play a Madden game ever again. But
yeah, the reason why I said that, and then said, and other non-licensed sports games is because, come on, there's an open market out there that isn't being filled, all because of EA and 2K sucking license beep.
Yeah. Well, I'll keep it real. I would totally play a. I would totally.
Sorry about the background sound. Sounds like somebody's sounds like somebody's getting shot. Their fireworks are going off.
I don't know. I would totally play another. I would totally play another Tecmo Bowl. Yeah, I think Nintendo keeps on lying. But I truly do think that Nintendo probably is going to cut off 3DS support sometime in the near future.
So everybody's been talking about the whole Switch Pro thing. That's the new rumor mill thing.
Yeah, I just don't see them. I don't see them doing a Switch Pro. I just don't see it happening. Do I think that they'll release new Switches that have like slightly upgraded technology? Probably. But I mean, I don't think
probably like a 3DS XL sort of thing where they kind of up the processor speed and up the maybe the GPU.
Yeah, but they're not going to market
more RAM to the GPU or something.
They're not going to market it like that, I don't think. Because if they do, it's going to piss off the people who already bought a Switch. Unless they make a really good program for people to trade in their old Switches to get new Switches. Like you trade in your old Switch, and for like $50 you get the new one.
Yeah, they should do it through their website too. Not use game stuff.
Yeah, because fuck games.
But what if they make it like console TV mode only? Much like how the Switch Lite is, and portable mode only.
I mean, I'd be cool with that because I don't use the portable version. I don't use the portable version of my Switch. So for me, like that doesn't really,
unless they give like the dock, unless they come out with a special dock that makes the Switch a little more powerful, something that has a CPU and GPU inside of it that can add that, kind of like an extra brain for the Switch when you put it on the dock or whatever.
Yeah, it's like some extra horsepower or something. I don't know.
I can see them doing something like that.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, like it's still gonna be kind of gonna be an expensive proposition, and it's gonna piss off the people who paid $300 for the old Switch. Yeah. Like that's the thing. You're gonna piss off your established fan base. Not all of them, but enough that it's not gonna be,
People are but this is the thing about the gaming community is that people get mad about stuff, but they'll still run out and buy it anyway.
Yeah, because they're stupid.
So it's like, well, you're gonna make them mad, but they're probably just gonna go out and buy it anyway, so they can tell everybody about how pissed they are about this product.
They're gonna complain about the shit and buy it anyway, which is weird to me because
there's some people that have no peeping moral stone.
Well, the way I feel about it is like this. Okay, if you don't like something, like if you don't
peep and buy it.
If you don't like it, don't buy it. Because listen, there's been shit Nintendo's come out with that I don't like. Like I don't like the fact that they fucking held back content for Mario Kart 8 to get it out, and rather than put it out for the Wii U, they just said fuck it and put it on the Switch, and then charged people $60 for that game on the Switch. That's a bitch move. I'm sorry. It's a good money move, but it's a bitch move in terms of your relationship with your customers. So you know what? And Mario Kart 8 was the highest selling game on the Wii U. Okay. On the Wii U, it was the highest selling game. So they can't say, well, people didn't really enjoy that game because the Wii U had, still of all the 8th gen systems, the Wii U had the highest attach rate for software, like higher than the PS4, higher than the Xbox One. So you can't tell me, oh, people didn't buy this game. A lot of people bought Mario Kart 8.
Well, only the 20 million plus Switch Wii U owners.
I'm just saying, a lot of people bought that game, and it's just kind of a bitch move to basically take out shit because you're working on your new shit. Look, listen, that's neither here nor there. It was a bitch move, but but that's not the point. I didn't buy that game. Not gonna buy that game. Not getting it. Same thing with New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe. I'm not getting that game. I already have that game on the Wii U. Why the fuck would I buy it again? With all the content, except I'm missing Rosette, but Toadette. I don't give a shit. Oh, I don't have Toadette. Oh, woe is me. My whole game.
Keep in mind, it's for people who didn't bought the Wii U.
No, I'm being facetious by the argument. I understand the counter arguments because I run a business. I understand the concept of doing things in order to make money. No problem with that. Bothers me, but that's not the point. My point is that they did this, and they did what they had to do. They did what they had to do to make some money. I'm not against the company making money. But my point is that if you don't like something, don't get it. Don't get something just to complain about it. Like I don't like the fact that the Switch Lite doesn't really have docked mode. Because if it doesn't have docked mode and you can't hook it to a TV, that means it's always in handheld mode. And I know there are games, because there's games that I have for the Switch, that when I play that shit in handheld mode, that shit's struggling, okay? Struggling. All right? Struggling, okay? So I know there's going to be some games that are going to play like ass on this thing. You know, and people, look, I already can anticipate people are going to get the mini Switch and be like, man, it's great, but if I play a certain games on it, it's going to, they are not fun to play and like this. So, I mean, you know, it is what it is.
There are a lot of people that just get the Switch to buy indie stuff.
So they're pulling the Vita route. Like people,
it's like
when it came. I get it for the indie games. It's like, man, why the fuck would you buy a console just for indie games? That makes no sense. I mean, if you're gonna be that into indie games, then there's the platform for indie games is PC.
No, it's just, you know, it's for people who aren't always at their PC.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But anyway, I guess we can let's see if we got any comments in the comment section, because we roll like that sometimes. We will Switch Pro when the PS5 and the Xbox 2 arrive. The truth. No. Like, I mean, I said this on Wednesday's podcast. If Nintendo is going to spend all that time and money to make to add enough horsepower to the Switch, not the same, but at least competitive enough that it can get some of the ports for the PS5 and the Xbox Scarlet, then it doesn't make they might as well just make a new console at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, that's what the Switch feels like. It feels like a downgraded Wii U anyway. So, like, I mean, that's probably what they'll do. The next console will probably be, you know, whatever. The truth says PC is indie central. I agree. Yeah. I mean, the only reason for me the PC is more indie central than the Switch, because the Switch does have a strong first party library. Something that most like normally when you hear people talk about, man, this platform is really good for indie, that's because they ain't got shit first party to play. So they gotta use that to console themselves, you know. But we got Shovel Knight, you know.
Yeah, which is weird. Which is really, I mean, the PS Vita, you know, it could have been a decent system if Sony would have supported the damn thing.
Yeah, they put Sony dropped like 5 games for that system, like 5 AAA, like they put effort into it, 5 games, and everything else was just, well, third parties will support it. Man, third parties don't do shit unless there's something in it for them.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, they don't do shit unless there's something in it for them, unless it's Sony, because they will get on their knees and lick Sony's asshole. Like Ubisoft and Activision and EA did when the PS3 was failing. Remember that? The PS3 was failing harder than a fat dumbass kid trying to pass PE.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they put everything out for that system. Everything. Assassin's Creed and Mass Effect and Dragon Age, like all these games. Insane amounts of games. PS3.
Yeah. I remember, I don't think a lot of people remember this, but there was a time when Assassin's Creed was exclusive for the PS3.
Yep.
Until they realized that, oh, we're not going to make a lot of money on this system because it isn't selling. Time to jump ship to PC and Xbox 360.
Yep.
There are actually a lot of games that are supposed to be exclusive to the PS3, but
Yep.
due to poor decision making, they became multiplats right away.
Yeah. I mean, like, why would you? This console exclusivity shit, like, especially for games that were traditionally multi-plats anyway, is kind of weird to me. But we're seeing more of it now because, this industry continues to change because people don't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, see,
Right.
yeah, and the thing is, it's like the next generation, since neither Sony or Microsoft can get a grip on exclusives, they're just going to compete with who has the better service. So
Yeah, basically. Yeah, and right now Microsoft is kicking their ass because Microsoft's like, okay, you give us $15, you can play all this huge library of shit across your PC and your Xbox and apparently eventually your phone for $15 a month. And Sony's sitting there saying, well, you can get PS Plus for $20 or PS Now for $20 a month, and the games they have are virtually the same, but you're paying more. And plus, you got to deal with the fact that Sony gets hacked every 6 months.
yeah.
And then you have Nintendo over there in the corner. They're like, well, give us $20 and you can play these old-ass Nintendo games that you don't give a shit about. And Tetris 99, motherfucker.
Didn't we just talk about like a potential credit card leak that Sony had a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, we did.
I don't know about a credit card leak. I know they had another hack where people's information, like private information, maybe some of their credit card information also got out too. Like basically every 3 to 4 months, every quarter to every trimester, Sony is getting hacked and losing people's information.
They must not be willing to spend money on their security team.
No.
They must really be skimping out on their security.
They're cheap. Sony is taking that money. Look, I figured out that Sony is taking the profitable part of their company and using it to hold up the unprofitable parts of their company. Even though they sold businesses and sold buildings and shit and sold off parts of the company, there's still parts of the company that are in the red.
The one thing you don't want to be cheap on when it comes to these things is security.
Yeah, well, it doesn't help when remember when they had that big hack, and then everyone's like, "How could this happen?" And it turned out that Sony executives had passwords like Sony123. That's their password. I don't care how tight your security is. When you have some shit like Sony123. Yeah, it's like you're asking for your shit to get stolen. Yeah, steal my shit. Go ahead.
Hey, if you can't remember your password, there are applications out there that have a password generator that'll save your password. Google Chrome will save your password if you're to create a complex if you forget your password.
Yep.
So it's just like why?
Why? Because they're stupid. That's why. Because it's Sony, and Sony likes to fuck up. That's Sony's MO, is we fuck up. Okay, Sony loves to fuck up. That's their MO. All right. But that being said, we've reached the end of the podcast. Anyone have anything they want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
Oh yes, there's a leak regarding Super Nintendo World that's being constructed in Universal theme parks. A leaked model of the land segment at least.
Oh, I've started an Etsy site for. I posted my computer up there, and it's called the Etsy store is called Kanosh Tech. So, anytime you guys are interested, check it out. Spread the word.
All right.
And Joel? Earth to Joel.
Huh?
We're pimping out the end of our.
I was waiting so long. I was wondering if we were getting to the end. So if anything, I'm down to nothing. But if anybody's still playing Tetris 99, the Xmas Cup is still going on.
I don't. What? Okay. This is Mr. Red Fox speaking, owner proprietor BS Busters. I do have something to pimp out. So basically, if you want to reach the channel, you can reach me at mrredfoxbsbuster@gmail.com or at Twitter at Matthew Wesley at mrredfox91.
And if you even want to join the podcast, there's ways to do that too.
Yes. If you send me an email, I'll reach out to you. You can reach out to me, and we'll set something up. You can join the podcast. If you have topic suggestions, things you want us to go over, news that you'd like to bring to our attention, you can do that too. Send me an email, tweet it. I can talk about it. So that being said, this is the podcast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. I'm going to steal this from Shadow Fox. Do you play games to have fun or to impress other people? I don't know about you, but I play games to impress other people. I don't give a fuck about fun. I play Madden in Call of Duty.
That's a buy. That's a bit expensive.
Yeah, man. I dropped like
you also buy expensive PC parts to show.
Yeah, I dropped like $1,600 just on microtransactions this month. It's great, and the month's only halfway through. So with that being said, peace out. Good night, and fuck
responsibly.
fuck EA hard.